A textbook case of post-traumatic stress disorder. Hey everyone, Templar74 here with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today's Yu-Gi-Oh video is going to be my thoughts and impressions regarding the latest episode of Yu-Gi-Oh VRAINS, episode 61, and I gotta be honest with you guys, although there wasn't a lot of action per se in this episode, it was still a good episode and a good backstory for Takeru slash Soulburner. But before I ramble on about that too much longer, let's talk about the actual episode. So the episode begins back in VRAINS at this closed fake gate that Soulburner was trapped in last episode. And of course, as you guys all remember from last week's episode, that this gate was created by Blood Shepherd. But the ironic part is, after Soulburner is kidnapped, everybody knows it's a fake. Emma knows it's a fake. Aoi knows it's a fake. Yusaku, Playmaker, knows it's a fake. Kusanagi knows it's a fake. Everybody knows it's a fake at this point. And they don't notice this until Soulburner is captured. And so Playmaker basically calls out to Kusanagi. He's like, can you open this gate? Because the number one priority right now is to save Soulburner. And Kusangi's back in the food truck. He's looking at this data that from Blood Shepherd's algorithm that created this gate. And he says, it looks tough. I don't know if I can do it. But Playmaker says, you have to do it, Kusanagi. You're our only hope to save Soulburner. We're counting on you. And it's about this time that Go's henchmen, the other two bounty hunters by Solar Technology, show up. And Playmaker basically tells Kusanagi, this is the plan. You're going to keep working on trying to get this gate open. I'm going to keep the bounty hunters busy. And that's essentially the episode within the actual VRAINS world. We then go back into this gate that's now closed, and we see Soulburner lying out in an unconscious state, and we see Blood Shepherd arrive. And at first, Blood Shepherd is disappointed because Soulburner wasn't the intended prey, it was Playmaker, but ultimately decides that this is fine because Soulburner has an Ignis too, and basically is saying, show it to me. And what he means by this is that Blood Shepherd is digging into the consciousness, the memories of Soulburner to try to learn his weakness. I'm not going to go any further into that because that's pretty much the premise for episode 62. Spoiler alert, by the way. So with that equation out of the picture, we then go into Soulburner's memories. He's back at his hometown. He's now Takeru. He's not Soulburner at this moment. And we actually see him there on this dock out here at the harbor. And his friend from school, Kiku, shows up. And she basically tells Takeru, you need to come back to school. You're going to get expelled. And Takeru says, it doesn't matter. I'm not going. And Kiku basically comes out and says, they've already called your grandpa in. You're going to get in trouble. Don't make him worry. And these two go off. Now, of course, I do want to say this. Takeru and Kiku, totally ship them. They're both real cute together. And I hope we get to see some more moments and interactions between these two come the end of VRAINS. But side subject off the rail, let's get back to the actual episode. So as these two are walking back to Takeru's home, they actually run across this kid, and he's being bullied by this group. We've got this guy that kind of resembles Go, and then we got this little nerdy kid that kind of is reminiscent of a young Dr. Genome from the Knights of Hanoi. That's really what he looks like. And at first I'm like, holy crap, is that young Genome? But then, it's not. But anyway, those two are easily confused, and they're trying to intimidate this kid. And Takeru basically says, leave him alone. And when these guys turn around and ask if there's a problem, they're struck with fear by Takeru because he looks dangerous. So they let the kid go, they run off, and that's pretty much that whole interaction. The bullies in this earlier part do come back a little bit later on in the episode, and that part of the episode is kind of giving me Dark Side of Dimensions vibes, but we'll talk about that shortly as soon as these guys return. So Takeru goes back home. He's now home. His grandma tells him, you need to get changed and go to the dojo. Your grandpa wants to speak to you, and that is an order. And we see these two in the dojo, and Takeru is saying, or is wanting to essentially throw his life away. And his grandpa's beating him down to the ground, and he says, if you want to quit school, that's your decision, but is it the right decision? And when Takeru has a chance to actually defeat his grandfather, he doesn't take advantage of it. He holds back. And then that's pretty much the end of these two's interaction. And we go back to his grandparents. They're now in the kitchen, and we kind of get this dynamic here of when your grandparents would adopt you, the grandpa would be the hardline disciplinarian that's basically, you need to get over the past, you need to worry about the future. And that's actually even talked about because his grandma says he's still thinking about the lost incident. And his grandpa says, who cares? That was years ago. History is history. It can't be changed. The past is the past. He needs to get over it and focus on the future. And his grandma is kind of being the caring advocate here on Takeru's side to an extent. She's like, he's a good kid. He's just lost his way with the lost incident. And then we join Takeru. He's back in his room, and he's been hallucinating throughout this entire flashback that there's this voice calling out to him, and the voice is ultimately Flame. And finally, he hears this voice calling out to him again, and he also hears about dueling, of course, earlier on in the episode. So finally, out of curiosity, he digs out the duel disc, and that's where Flame is, and it scares the crap out of Takeru. He falls to the ground. He's like, this is a ghost! Because apparently Takeru has a great fear of ghosts, and again, that'll play a role in the next episode. But Flame finally is able to talk to him, is able to talk some sense into him, and is basically saying, you need to find Playmaker because Playmaker's destiny and your destiny are intertwined. You're both victims of the lost incident. And so Ignis is trying, or Flame rather, is trying to break through to Takeru. And finally, he's interrupted by a knock on the door, and it's his grandma. And she basically tells Takeru, rather, that there's this girl from his class that's here, but it's not Kiku, it's another girl. And she basically tells Takeru that Kiki is being held by these same bullies from earlier on in the episode. So Kiku's being held by him. She can't get out. Takeru runs off to save her with his dual disc because their demand is that he come alone, and he comes with his dual disc. So he finally arrives, and Kiku, she's there surrounded by these guys, and they're refusing to give her phone back. But once Takeru shows up, he looks at him and he's like, I'm here. I came alone as promised with the dual disc. Give her phone and let her leave. And so the bullies give Kiku her phone. She runs to Takeru, and Takeru tells her, just go home. Just go home. You've been through enough tonight. And Kiku at first doesn't want to leave Takeru. But finally, she decides, okay, I'm out of here. She leaves, and we see Takeru take on this little guy who, like I said before, gives me the vibes of Dr. Genome because he just looks like a young Dr. Genome. But anyway, the guy's name is Ryujin, and he turns out to be a dual prodigy. And basically, since they don't want to confront Takeru with violence, this kid, Ryujin, who is also a dual champion, is going to take him on in a duel and teach him a lesson that way. And ultimately, these two begin their duel, and it doesn't make a lot of sense at first because this Ryujin kid uses a zombie deck, and essentially what his strategy is he special summons two monsters, destroys them, brings the same two monsters back. It's pointless, but he ultimately does end up coming with a creative strategy to basically stop Soulburner and Flame right in their tracks, and that's essentially the episode. So like I said, not a lot of action in this episode. The duel at the end is very, very short, doesn't take up a lot of the episode, but we did get some backstory into Soulburner's past. We know that him and Kiku have a connection here. We know that he's now afraid of ghosts, and that at first he did not want to get involved with this at all, and it wasn't until Flame arrived and started trying to get in contact with them that he finally started digging into the Hanoi incident and ultimately decides to seek out Playmaker so that he can create his new future. So not a whole lot to the episode, but it's still a really good episode. Overall, I give this episode a 7.5 out of 10. A really good episode. It's just, there are some quirks in this episode that got me, like, for example, really after Soulburner is gone, everybody realizes that this is a fake. I really didn't think the bounty hunters were necessary to have there with Playmaker, and I also really don't like the concept that Blood Shepherd is going full-on cheat mode, although it does suit his character, I gotta be honest, but I'm still not comfortable about it. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens next episode for the conclusion to the duel between Soulburner and this Ryujin kid, as well as the beginning of the duel ultimately with Blood Shepherd and Soulburner. So with all that being said, like I said before, good episode. In the comments section down below, though, let me know what you guys thought about this week's episode. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was just there? What were your thoughts on Soulburner's past? What are your thoughts on ultimately Soulburner going up against Blood Shepherd? What are your predictions for the winner of the duel? Just let me know what your guys' thoughts are about all this in the comments section down below, because as always, I enjoy hearing from you. Alright everyone, as always, Templar74 signing off. Have a great day everybody. I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye everybody.